Hey everyone, I'm the Rev, and I'm back on Le Mans Ultimate. I'm on the intermediate race at Monza with no chicane. I'm in the Toyota and somehow I've managed to stick it on pole position, but only by an absolutely tiny amount, so this was going to be a tight race. Now the last long form video that I did, it went down quite well where I only chimed in when I had something important to say, so I'm going to stick to that format. But I will tell you that this race was pretty good to start. However, you are going to see the Rev the most dejected that he's been on this channel since it started. However, even from that dejection, I will try and take the positives. So you'll see that later on. But for now, starting on pole at Monza with no chicane means you're on the outside for the first chicane, which is not good. That allows the person in second place up the inside. Brouillard there with a fantastic move into the chicane, could have get him back on traction into the Lesmos. I'm late onto the brakes into the first Lesmo, he gives me the room, the two Toyotas side by side. How's it going to be into Lesmo 2? I decide I'm going to back out of that one. I could have been more aggressive there, but with 39 minutes of this race to go, I thought it was best to back out of it and live to fight another day. I have, however, invited the Ferrari onto my outside. I'm going to defend it now into the Variante Ascari, which we managed to do successfully and cleanly, and it was just time to get your head down and crack on with the race. I was still in second place, and there was a long, long way to go.
These are the first couple of corners, we'll take them.
As you can see, I was quite happy with the first lap so far. Our start was pretty decent. Let's have a look how the start went for people further down the pack. We'll ride on board now with one of the Ferraris as we head down into the first chicane. It's actually the second chicane, but you know what I mean. Looking to the right hand side, you can see the Isotta Fraschini. He's broke a little bit too late, has to take to the escape road, but it's all nice and clean. The Peugeot dips its wheels into the gravel. Looking up ahead, you can see a Ferrari now. He's about to lose the rear into the first Lesmo, onto the gravel. We've all done it, mate. We've all done it. Well, I've done it many times. This Ferrari as well, though, he's too late on the brakes and he loses it into Lesmo 2. But other than that, it was a pretty clean start. Heading back to our race though, we've got Brouillard, he's 0.3 ahead. I've got the Ferrari of Framan, he's behind 0.3. I may have some company as we head down into the next chicane if he can get a sniff of my slipstream. I knew that in this first stint I was going to have to do a bit of fuel saving as well, so I wasn't overly panicked about being in second place up to now. I felt that I had the pace, that I might be able to challenge for that win. I'm in the slipstream now of the Toyota, but rather than throw it up the inside, I decide to lift off and use a bit of that fuel saving. However, in the background you can see a Peugeot going for a dive bomb on the Ferrari. That's not ended particularly well for any of them. The Ferrari's off, spinning in the background. Let's have a look what on earth's just happened. We're going to ride on board with the Peugeot as he heads down into the first chicane. The Ferrari's clearly fuel saving, the doors open. He's sort of alongside, but the Ferrari turns in and then he gets clattered from behind by a Porsche. The Peugeot gets away with it, but the Ferrari not so much. Let's have a look from the perspective of the Ferrari driver. He's doing a bit of fuel saving, but the doors open, the Peugeot throws it up the inside. There's a bit of contact, he's nearly got away with it, but the Porsche gives him a tap and then he's spun by the Ferrari driver.
Big incident in Sector 2. No idea what it is, we'll try and come back to it. Seems to have given me some breathing space though. We've got a lad with a drive-through as well. It's all going Pete Tong behind.
It was indeed all going off behind us, but I had Brouillard in my sights. I was managing to keep up with him whilst doing a bit of fuel saving at the same time. This was going pretty well.
Do what we can to save a little bit of fuel.
I had the lap target set to 1, I knew what I had to do. If I could fuel save a little bit in this first stint, whilst keeping up with Brouillard, I should be in a good position come the end of the race. Or at least I should have been, but for my own stupid mistakes, as you'll see.
The win would be great, but it is what it is. We are certainly going to have to save a little bit of fuel. Carried a bit more speed there than he did. Might have been fuel saving though.
I'd managed to put it on pole with a 1:26.3, but we were nowhere near that at this moment in time. So I definitely thought that the lad ahead, he was doing some fuel saving too. So I think we had the same idea.
He's definitely fuel saving. But so are we.
Bit high pitch there, Rev. I don't really know what that was about.
I know you can put your clutch in, but we're not doing any of that caper. I'm not using any kind of bugs or anything like that. I'd rather finish second.
There is a tactic on LMU you can use where if you pull your clutch you save even more fuel as you're coasting into corners, but I'm not willing to use bugs or glitches. I'd rather finish second.
He's not shut the door.
To be fair, the door is closed because he's on the inside. It would have to be a particularly ballsy move to go around the outside into the chicane. It's nice and clean though, we're giving each other enough room and he manages to keep the position.
Good racing, mate. Nice and clean. Love it. Try and get on the power a bit earlier. Oh, he's a bit weavy,
I certainly felt that there on the straight there was a bit of a move to the right, then a move to the left. But luckily we got away with it, so there was no harm done.
And that's invited the Peugeot in.
I think that on outright pace we had the Peugeot covered. However, if we started to battle one another, we'd just invite that Peugeot onto us. So just for this first stint I was going to concentrate more on trying to save the fuel.
I think we should just have the pace on the Peugeot driver. "14 laps of fuel." Let's keep this fuel saving up. Try and keep him honest. GT3s are going to be interesting. I have to be honest and say I totally forgot about GT3s. But here they come.
Multi-class racing is one of the best things about Le Mans Ultimate. It's something that's new to me, but I absolutely love it. Adding the GT3s into the mix just adds another dimension to the racing.
That's just invited us onto him and give us a bit of a run.
I was certainly the closest I've been now to the back of the Toyota. I'm going to dive to the inside, but if you look up ahead, we've got a GT3. He's in the middle of the road. This is going to cause some issues. I think I'm going to have to back out of this one.
Got to give him that one, otherwise I end up in the back of the GT3. I can't have that.
That's invited the Peugeot up our inside, but we're decent enough and late on the brakes. We managed to get it stopped and get out of the chicane, still in second place.
It's okay, it's okay. It's just what he needed.
As we headed into the GT3 pack, it was always going to be about where we caught the traffic. And unfortunately, I caught it in some, let's say, worse places than he did, I think. But it's the complete luck of the draw.
Just been luckier through the traffic than we have. Six laps, 8 laps of fuel remaining.
Brouillard had pulled out a bit of a gap, but I was still confident that without the fuel saving, if we use maximum pace, I should be able to close that gap up. Plus, we had more GT3s to come, so it wasn't lost yet.
Puts me under a bit of pressure now, little bit of pressure. He's done the same as us. the pressure told.
As soon as I was under a bit of pressure, I missed my braking point into the first chicane, but we managed to get away with it by getting off the throttle and not getting a drive-through penalty.
I'm going to catch these now into the Ascari again.
We think that was crashed. Right side's clear.
He's been really lucky in with the traffic so far.
I think Brouillard had just dropped on in the traffic better than we had. I think he just caught them in places where he could go around them that little bit quicker, but it was still only a 1.4 second gap, so it was all to play for.
Gonna get this lad as well, I think. Tell him we're coming.
I do want to be as courteous to the GT3s as I possibly can be. However, as you'll see, it doesn't always go to plan. But I'll certainly try my best not to ruin their race. I need these GT3s as it's you guys that add that extra dimension to the racing for me.
Right, so we've still got the Peugeot behind for company. And unfortunately, I've got a bit of work to do.
With the gap at 1.1 seconds, I certainly had a little bit of work to do, but I was still confident we could get back up with Brouillard.
Which doesn't help me fuel saving.
Having to try and close the gap didn't help my fuel saving, but it was quite clear as we headed into the Variante Ascari that Louis, up ahead, he was fuel saving too.
Short shift a tiny little bit. Have to get back on the fuel saving bus. Back in the 26s though. Should I go all out this lap or should I still fuel save? I'm still going to fuel save.
We were back in the 126s and the gap was down to just over half a second, so I felt that I could still fuel save whilst catching Louis up ahead.
Didn't come down to first, that wasn't my finest, but I was saving a bit of fuel. .7 the gap.
Yellow flag, sector 3. I think Fernandez has made it.
So we're both the same fuel wise. It's going to be quite tight this.
Sector 1. Sector 3 is green. Sector 1 is clear.
Back in the tow.
I had a tiny little bit more fuel than Louis up ahead and I was managing to sit within his slipstream, so far this was looking really good. However, as we came round the Curva Grande, I noticed that there was another GT3 car there, and I knew that I was going to catch it in a bad place, so I had a little lift and managed to go round the outside without incident.
Thanks, mate.
Okay, Matt, stay close. Wait for him to make a mistake.
Will we get the McLaren before the end of the straight?
The GT3 McLaren up ahead into the Variante Ascari. He was going to be much slower than us. Louis closes right onto the back of him. This is our chance.
Car right, clear on car left.
He's not coming off the inside. We're going for it, boys. Wish us luck.
He's still there. Still there. Hold your line. Clear left.
He tucks back in.
Well done, Matt. You're looking really good.
So the inside's mine now, pal.
The inside might be yours, Rev, but he's got a fantastic tow here down the straight. He might have you before you even get to the chicane.
Hold your line.
Oh, he's past me. He's past me. Fair play to him. Well done, mate. Pat on the apex. Very nice.
Fantastic driving there from Louis. Completely had me off on the straight, but this race wasn't over yet.
Defended well into the second Lesmo. Oh, got a warn. It was green at first. Never mind.
I don't like getting warnings for track limits, but in a race as close to this, I had to keep my foot in, as I'd rather take the penalty than lose all the time to Louis up ahead.
P2 indeed. Fighting hard for it.
We were indeed having to fight hard for this one, but so far it had been a fantastic race. I cannot recommend these races enough. If you haven't tried them, then do give them a try. If I can do it, then you can.
We just need some of this traffic to fall in our favour. Oh, there's another load here now. Oh, your heart's in your mouth.
So far, the GT3 cars, I felt they'd fell more in his favour than ours. However, here now, into the Variante Ascari, this GT3 BMW is going to cause us all sorts of issues.
He's nowhere to go. He's nowhere to go.
Louis there was balked by the GT3 BMW. He had to take to the gravel, and we're up to first.
Oh dear, God in heaven.
Left, clear left. On your left. Come here, Matt. Stop clear left.
To be fair, that GT3's just done me a favour.
Watch out, car left. Clear left.
He has just done me a favour. Is this a hypercar? Might be about to lap a hypercar.
Car in front of us is 3 laps behind.
Good to know.
In that incident with the GT3 BMW, Louis, he dropped all the way down to third, so we now had the Peugeot behind us. We also had a hypercar up ahead that was going to need lapping. Hopefully, he wouldn't cause us any issues.
Toyota's back ahead.
However, as you can see, it didn't take long for Louis to regain that second place, so he was now going to be starting to hunt us down.
He's going to have to use a bit of fuel now if he wants to catch me.
In these multi-class hypercar races, there's so much to think about, and at this moment in time, I wouldn't say I'm really used to it, and I'm kind of spinning plates. Should I use my fuel? Should I not? Should I use outright pace? How much fuel do I need? I've got a lot to think about, and at the moment in time, I'm not used to it, but I'm hoping to get better.
Hopefully this hypercar will not get in our way. One more lap of fuel after this. And he's in the pits. Going for the undercut. Maybe I should have done, really. Otherwise I'm going to get held up by this Porsche.
And that was exactly my concern now. I thought if I get held up in the traffic, Bulliard's already in the pit, he might end up coming out ahead of us.
That is so good at that Porsche. Thank you so much, Porsche.
Very thankfully and luckily for us, the hypercar driver in the Porsche, he was fantastic and got straight out of our way. Can't thank him enough. Thank you very much, Porsche driver. If you're watching, really appreciated it.
I am boxing this lap, mate. I've had to be a little bit slow here on my in-lap.
I have indeed caught a bit of traffic on the in-lap, so this was going to cost me.
Get ready with the pit limiter. Right, come on. Let's see what we can do.
So it was time for our one and only stop. I still don't know exactly where to stop on these pit boxes, so I'm getting it wrong every time and they're having to move the car before they start putting the fuel in.
Here we go, start filling us up, boys. Oh, caught him on the way out the pits.
I thought I'd caught the Corvette on the way out to the pits, where in actual fact, the Corvette had driven straight into me. As you can see, it's just a tap, but it's definitely an unsafe release. But here, as we exit the pits, we can see that Louis, he's coming, but also is the Peugeot Friedel, and this is where this race is going to start to unravel for me, I'm afraid. We've managed to come out of the pits in the lead, however, it isn't going to last. We're not up to speed. Here comes Louis, flashing his lights. Past he goes. But to add insult to injury, here comes the Peugeot, he comes flying past on the outside, and I've lost 2 positions. I'm down to 3rd. There's a GT3 up ahead as well, and I've not remembered that my brakes have no temperature whatsoever. I'm too late, I'm never getting it stopped, and I'm round. I've spun it. What a ridiculous mistake to make. No brake temperature whatsoever, having exit the pits, and I've made a massive cock up.
Completely forgot my brakes are freezing.
It was a very, very stupid mistake, but I'm telling you now, it's one that I won't make again. I'll never forget that now. Let's have a look at that stupid, stupid move. From the TV cameras you can see Louis come flying past, then comes the Peugeot, he comes flying past too, and I've not got any brake temperature whatsoever. But I don't know if it was a bit of red mist or what, but I totally forgot. I'm too late, onto the brakes, she's never going to stop, lock up at the end, just tap the side of the Peugeot, and thank God I only spanned myself around and didn't ruin the race of the Peugeot. That would have been gutting. But we're going to rejoin our race 7 laps later. I'd got my head down after that incident and I'd managed to catch back up to Friedel in the Peugeot. 2nd place, it was still possible. I just needed to not make any more stupid errors.
Got more fuel than these lads. This is stressful.
I had enough fuel now to get me to the end. I had more fuel than the guys ahead, so I could push harder than they could. It was all to play for. Could I get 2nd place?
Could do with dispatching this Peugeot early.
With 5 minutes left of this race to go, I was starting to realise that Louis was only 1.5 seconds up the road, so you never know, the win could have been on, but I still would have took second place, and I would have been happy with it.
Is he having to save fuel there up ahead, maybe? But we aren't saving any fuel. We are going for it. We are going for broke.
Revving the Toyota out, using everything she's got. We're up the outside, which is going to become the inside, into the first chicane of the Peugeot. Can we get this move done? If we could, we would be in second place. He's backed out of it, he's doing the fuel saving. That's second place. 1.2 behind Louis. However, it's all going to go horribly, horribly wrong.
Oh no, mate, what are you doing? Get out of the way!
Oh no, Reverend, that's on you, that, you absolute tit. And now you're off at the second Lesmo as well. Jesus wept. What are you doing?
I have no idea what's just happened. That's probably my bad.
There's no probably about it. I take full responsibility. As you can see, I'm absolutely fuming. Let's have a look at what I've just done. As we head into the first Lesmo, I close up behind the Porsche. I feel like he's going to stick to the inside, but he's not. I move to the outside, but I was always too close. If we have a look from my onboard, I feel like he's going to stick to the inside of the first Lesmo, but he has a twitch and he moves to the outside, and I've already touched him. And with that, he's facing in the wrong direction. Terrible driving from me. I look now from on board the GT3 Porsche. As he heads now into the first Lesmo, one Toyota safely through. On his way in, he has a little bit of a snap. Moves to the outside, and I just make contact with him and span him round. Terrible driving, and I was really upset with myself.
That's not safely finding your way through, is it?
On my last video, I'd got a compliment from one of you guys about how I'd gone past the GT3 cars and how I'd showed them some courtesy, so I was absolutely fuming with myself that I'd hit that Porsche and probably ruined his race. If you're watching, mate, I can only apologise, and if you're a GT3 driver in general on LMU, I can only apologise for that. It was absolutely stupid.
Leaves a bad taste in the mouth now, which I'm bothered.
If there's one thing I do, it's self-reflect, and massively so. So at this moment in time, all I could think about was how I'd hit that Porsche, how I'd ruined his race, and I just felt massively dejected. With only 2 minutes now of this race left to go, well, nearly 3. All I wanted to do was just finish the race. I didn't care now whether it was first, second, third, 10th. I just wanted the race to end. I certainly didn't want to make any kind of contact with this Peugeot driver. I didn't want to make contact with anyone else. I just wanted a clean race now to the end. As we come out of Lesmo 2, I've got the run on him though. I was in the slipstream, I pulled to the outside. I think he's going to have to do a little bit of fuel saving. He gets out to the throttle. The Variante Ascari is ours, and we're back up to second place.
Just doesn't feel good.
Because of the contact with the GT3 Porsche, I took no joy whatsoever out of taking that second place. I just wanted this race to be over now. We'd come so far, so I just wanted it to be over. Skipping ahead now to the final lap, to the end of the race. Unfortunately, it was a much better start than it was an end. It was such a shame.
Great drive, mate.
Fantastic drive from Louis for the win. It was a pity we couldn't say the same for ourselves.
Fuming. Absolutely fuming with that.
That's the most dejected anyone will have ever seen me on this channel in 8 months.
I mean, second. Gotta take second, but
Can't take any joy when you know you've ruined another driver's race.
contact with a Porsche. Contact with a Peugeot as well when I came out the pits. Just stupid. But hey, oh, we finished second. It is what it is. We all make mistakes. We're all human.
We certainly are. We all make mistakes. And hopefully we live and we learn. So what did it do for the driver rank? Well, the driver rank and the safety rank went up. So that's a bit stupid if you ask me, because there's no way the safety rank should have gone up. At the end of the day, I've cleaned another driver out and I made contact with a Peugeot when I spun it. So if that's not backwards logic, I don't know what is. As always, I've been the Reverend. Thank you very much for watching.